large amount of people thought I was Dominican. And I became popular because of the culture of the Hispanic barbers stick together more than African-American barbers. That's what my experience has been. I invested into a Phoenix Salon Suite in Charlotte at one point. And it was one of the most challenging things and experiences I've had.
I am excited to interview and to introduce to some Kenny Duncan. He is Andy's North American Artistic Team Lead, Master Barber, Educator, Photographer, Salon Owner, just to name a few of his titles. He's groomed the likes of Michael B. Jordan for movies such as Fantastic Four and Creed. He's also worked backstage on different tours with the likes of Lady Gaga and Adele. He's also responsible for styling NBA stars such as the entire 76ers team, but more specifically Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Jimmy Butler. Kenny's been shaping the future of the barbering industry for years, and he's an industry icon that you definitely want to hear from.
First, I just want to thank you and welcome you to Atlanta.
Thank you for having me, man.
Good to see you again. Actually, first time in person.
Yes.
Great to meet you in person.
We meet virtually and we feel like we're tight friends because of the constant communication. Contact.
Sure.
But there's nothing like that handshake.
Yeah, it's quite different, man. We need to do this more often. But I'm just excited, bro. I think there's a great opportunity for barbers right now. And I'm just anxious to get your perspective on everything that's going on in the industry.
Okay.
And the role that we play in the community, especially as AI starts to grow and take a lot of positions and jobs across the country. I think barbers are in a really great place. So I'd love to get your perspective on that, as well as different tactics and strategies that veteran barbers or experienced barbers can use to make sure that they solidify their business, right? Like as far as them creating a lifestyle for themselves and their family, I think this is a great season to be a barber.
Definitely understand that. I'm curious to know what your perspective is of how AI will have an effect. Because as I'm hearing you speak, it's coming across that you have some preconceived notions already of what will take place. So I would like some dialogue on that one, just so I can understand more where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I have a small cohort of barbers. We talk about twice a week and we discuss different topics. And one thing that I think that a lot of barbers are, I guess, overlooking is the impact that AI will have on our industry. Because generally speaking, it's going to be a long time before a black man is going to allow a robot to cut his hair, to do a fade on him. But I think there's some other threats that barbers need to be thinking about. And one thing that I think is a threat is the potential for more competition. So let's use truck drivers as an example. A lot of jobs are being taken from them, and pretty soon that industry is going to be hit pretty hard. I don't believe that a truck driver, or at least a guy who's been a truck driver for years, if he gets disrupted and has to leave this position, I don't think he's going to go get his degree. So I think a lot of people are going to start going towards other low barrier entry jobs. And I believe we're in those positions. So I think it's just an opportunity for more competition, which leads to the prices going down potentially. What are your thoughts on that?
My oldest son is 24 and he's a manager of Amazon in Louisiana. He's in Shreveport, Louisiana. Previously, he was a manager of Amazon in Virginia and Charlestonville. Charlottesville, Virginia. And when he was there, during his shift, the average amount of orders that were packed and shipped were 5,300.
5,300?
Yeah.
Okay.
Within an 8-hour shift. That's through humans, right? And he's now one of the top performing managers, and which awarded for them to pay for him to move to Louisiana to the first fully automated building that has a significantly less amount of employees than all of the other buildings he's worked in. The most recent update that he gave me was that there was 251,000 orders packed and shipped in that 8-hour shift. I said, son, do me a favor. All your friends that you've built relationship with throughout the company that working in the office or in the factories, my suggestion to you is that you encourage them to start driving. Because what I see being a shift isn't that there's going to be less opportunity for humans. It's going to be shifting. one of my mentors, Joey Lester, he said, we have to embrace change or die.
Mm-hmm.
So my perspective is that, just based on that insight, that truck drivers may lose their jobs, not to just other truck drivers
Mm-hmm.
or individuals that's going to take lower pay. They're going to lose opportunities through the amount of people that will become delivery drivers. I just came from doing a charity event in Jacksonville, Florida. And when I was leaving, my partner there was Angel Rawls. And he was a great host, stayed with him and his family. And when I was leaving his house, there was a doctor who picked me up as an Uber driver.
Wow.
I seen the badge, seen the stethoscope hanging from the mirror, the rearview mirror. And I was like, wow, we're in a place where any and everybody is willing to take another job or another side hustle to make some extra money. I like the idea that there's a lot of, 9 to 5 or just, middle-class individuals that will take the opportunity to make some additional money doing, something like that. And my money is going directly to somebody who needs it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. But it's just proof that things are changing.
For sure.
So when you say that truck drivers are going to pivot to do something else, my perspective is that products being delivered is not going to change.
What won't change?
Products being delivered.
Products being delivered. Oh, for sure.
Won't change. It will only be how it's delivered will change. Now, I've been around long enough to see small mom and pop stores on corners used to have Pepsi and Coca-Cola trucks directly deliver products to them. But then there was a disrupt in distribution where it became easier for local redistribution centers to buy in larger quantities from the companies to get the best price possible.
Yeah.
They would increase the amount of order to eliminate the company's need for a delivery driver to be on salary, to bring the price down and say, hey, if I can increase my order, give me the best price possible, and then put the onus on the store owners to come to this local redistribution center to pick up their stuff versus the trucks having their stops and going all around the city.
Yeah.
Will there be changes in the barbershop? Absolutely. Will there be opportunities for shift and change? Absolutely. We see that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't think we had to wait for AI to come across to see those things now. There's even shifts now. There's publicly, there's a lot of disconnection with barbers of color.
How do you mean?
Let me unpack a story prior to, so you can understand context, understand why I said what I said. When I first got into the barber industry, I've always had a beard, but one of the things that took place was I shaved my head prematurely before I even was bald, and I needed to shave it just because of time. It was more effective and efficient for me with a busy schedule. By the time I got done cutting hair, barbers weren't necessarily working, and then I had to fly out to go to a hair show. There wasn't much time for me to keep it simple. Instead of me spending an hour doing my own, 15 minutes, shave it, I can go.
Gotcha.
Right? But then one of the other things I did was I actually shaved from the beard into the goatee. A large amount of people thought I was Dominican. As a person that was viewed as the Dominican barber, more barbers gravitated to me, and I became popular because of the culture of the Hispanic barbers stick together. It's a cultural thing. Stick together more than African-American barbers. That's what my experience has been. Growing up in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love wasn't my experience of brotherly love. My experience was a lot of people who knew you were focused on trying to tear you down, crab in the barrel mentality. My context of what I see within our culture isn't the support that's necessary in order for us to have an industry that continues to grow and become better. My experience and what I've seen is as things change, as people have to change and shift and adjust, the people who stick together through collaborations, it's now a new thing through social media that they push collaborations.
For sure.
But in certain cultures, collaboration has always been there.
What do you think it is? Why are we lacking black barbershops, black barbers? What do you think's missing?
I think it's a lot of that's a nuanced answer. Like, it's a large amount of things. It's not just one thing that will cause us to be that. But ultimately, I would just say if you don't have enough access to people modeling it and showing to you, it's hard to duplicate something it's hard to assimilate into something that you're not around.
Hmm. That's powerful.
So as
Like examples.
So for me, my life has been different because coming from up north, I was frequently coming down south and experiencing Southern hospitality. So the culture in which I was raised at was immediately challenged in my 20s because of what I was exposed to.
Yep.
So it's easy for me to assimilate to being open and giving and to be more about unity because of what I was exposed to, especially once I shaved my head, shaved my beard. Now I'm a part of a community of barbers that just support each other.
Yeah.
So now I'm a part of a exotics hair better tour and Major League Barbers doing their shows, and it's dominated by Spanish barbers.
For sure. Yep.
Dominated. And I'm getting a whole lot of love. But a lot of us didn't feel our place in these things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was what I've learned, and what I've been demonstrating isn't what I've gotten from our community.
Gotcha. So now now that you're in a place of leadership.
So it's tough because I can't expect for everybody to assimilate to something they're not exposed to.
For sure. For sure. Do you feel like, in a slight pivot, do you feel like the rise of barber suites?
It's all a part of it.
That has
it's all a part of it.
Role in that?
So I invested into a Phoenix Salon Suite in Charlotte at one point. And it was one of the most challenging things and experiences I've had. And it was because I offer myself as an asset, as a coach to people to help them build, because I had insight on how to build successful barbers.
Yep.
I've done it over and over again. A large amount of the leaders within the barber industry now have either sat in classes, viewed me as mentor. Some of them call me on. I can't take responsibility for everything people are doing,
right?
But I can tell you many stories of your barbers, your barbers, favorite barbers, of what our relationship has been. I can break all those things down, right? But when I see the younger generation coming up afterwards, the mindset is, as soon as I find something I don't like about this shop, I'm going.
I'm out. 100%.
There's no room for personal accountability. There's no room for making an assessment of the other things that's necessary for business to grow and be great. I have a perspective that there's 3 things that's necessary in order for any person in any business to be successful. Number 1 is talent. Number 2 is effective management. Number 3 is public perception. Every barber should at least be making $1 per minute, and that's hanging their hat on talent. The challenge is the second and third piece is missing. When you're focusing on effective management, it positions you for your next increase. When you focus on public perception, it focuses on giving you to the next increase, because you're marketing what people should know about you as a specialist or whatever it is you serve to help meet the needs of the person that actually you're solving their particular problem. Yep. And that's where we find the most money, is solving people's problems. So my perspective of the salon suites are, when people leave that are solely focused on talent, because somebody that may be seasoned may give them some type of order and structure, because from the book E-Myth, my perspective of how the business runs is not just off of the operators who are talented alone.
Okay.
There has to be effective management. There's somebody who's thinking in the past, what things happen that we don't want to happen again. So building in rules to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right.
What happens when, somebody's out of uniform? What position what communication does that give people? What perspective of whether you're a professional or not, what does that give people? So you come up with the idea for the uniforms for the purpose of representation of the highest quality professional that's going to be in the building, right?
Yep.
So that helps drive beyond just the $1 per minute, because of you're separating yourself from other businesses by being a little bit higher ranked. Instead of being that 3-star that only gives good haircuts,
right,
you're positioned as the 4 or 5-star based off of the good experience as well as the ambiance. So it's not just the food tasting good, it's the food tasting good and the ambiance and the service and whether the utensils are clean or not. So we're focusing on clean haircuts, but are we focusing on clean stations?
That's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah, I touch on it all the time. I want to make sure we clearly define that, because you said 3 different things. First, you mentioned talent. and talent is solely the quality of your haircuts. So you're saying once barbers master that talent portion, they're done, they leave, they go towards a suite, not understanding that there's two more other parts that they need to make sure that they're paying attention to. So can you clearly define the second part? So number 2 is effective management.
Effective management.
So for an individual barber who may be the best barber, or maybe the second best barber in the shop, what does that look like for him? What is effective management?
Well, the question I have is, because everybody's prioritizing the actual price of a haircut.
Right.
The question I have is, how much are you actually making? What is your actual booking rate? Like, how often actually are you booked? And also, we may not even really consider how much money you're actually making from being in that particular location and benefiting from the overflow of the barber styles in the shop. Because one thing that happens is when we're all marketing one particular business, one particular brand, and one particular website to book an appointment, everybody wins.
Yeah, that energy is crazy.
But now when you focus on trying to isolate yourself and do your own booking website, how strong will you be to consistently be booked and have the same booking rate?
Yep.
This is part of your effective management. So I don't care how good you cut hair, braid hair, color hair, I don't care what it is. When you detach yourself from the group business, how strong are you? My experience with the Phoenix Salon Suites was I came and offered myself as a coach to a large amount of people, and I received pushback because their perspective was that I came with the mentality of I'm better and want to help. And that's not even what my language was. My language was I want to be a coach to you. A coach doesn't take responsibility for anything you do in the game. Behind the scenes, I give you some insight and like you run the play, you actually get all the accolades. Because as much as we talk about the players, we rarely talk about the coaches that help them get there.
So can we stop right there for us, Kirby? Because that's a powerful thing. Everybody praises Mike, Mike Jordan, because of how amazing he was, 6 championships. But let's not forget what you said. He was on an amazing team, number 1, and he had coaching. Mike wasn't responsible for calling the plays. Mike wasn't responsible for calling the timeouts. He was able to execute and master his craft and had an ecosystem around him to let him do that. I think a lot of barbers are missing that, especially ones who take that shortcut route to just escape maybe the pressure or I guess it's a lack of, I don't know how to put it. Maybe it's just a lack of patience. I think you mentioned effective management. I want to talk to you from the other side, because when I was coming up as a young barber in the shop, I definitely stayed in the shop longer, and I saw value in learning from the owner, but I saw a lot of barbers come and go. A lot of them come and go. As soon as I started making money.
There's some things we got to unpack here before we move on. I got to explain public perception, how to cultivate that, because that ties into why the coaches aren't highlighted, and I'm going to tie it into Tex Winters.
Tex Winters.
Tex Winters.
Tex Winters.
You never even heard his name?
I've heard his name.
Public perception is what happened with Michael Jordan. If everybody's seen the documentary on Mike, they've seen how they marketed Mike as a tennis player, as an individual that was a part of this team.
For sure.
So Mike benefited as a brand to be who he has been. His game allowed for it to be justified, but the marketing allowed for people to know about him. It's the reason why when he gets off a bus, a plane in China, he's playing in the States, everybody knows him and they're still, going crazy. The things that took place behind the scenes that wasn't marketed, the public didn't know about because it wasn't tied to his earnings for him to be publicized, is Tex Winters. He's the one that created the triangle offense. He's the one that Phil Jackson will always have with him to teach and implement the triangle offense. Google it, don't believe me. So there's individuals that are behind the scenes that are responsible for the public people that we know and praise. And I want to give you a barbering example of what I mean by that one. But before I break that down, I have to break down what we all know in this industry is influencers and educators. There's a difference.
Between influencers and educators.
Definitely so, there's a difference.
All right, break it down.
So I personally get disappointed when people call me an influencer. And the reason why is because even though I do have influence, God has given me a gift of influence. I'm not running away from that one. But it's not what I'm hanging my hat on as this is what my focus is. Some things come by way of just being an influencer. Tex Winters was an influencer's influencer. I believe that's stronger than just being out in the forefront.
Got you.
You follow me? So there's an ABDCE of becoming an educator. First, you have to be an apprentice barber. That means you're learning from somebody.
Yep.
Then you actually become an actual barber. After some time as a barber, you become labeled as a consistent barber because you develop some habits and some winning ways. And then after you become a consistent barber that has some winning ways, people start to notice and ask you questions. How'd you do this? How'd you do that?
Yeah.
So then some brand or some sort of way, or whether you showcase or not, you're going to end up becoming a demonstrator. You're going to be demonstrating in front of somebody how you did what you did, whether it's in your shop teaching another barber, hey, how'd you do that? Oh, we went like this and you did like this. And I use this right here and I did like this one. There isn't no systematic approach to how I'm going to explain it, but I'm going to show you the best that I can and try my best to explain it. Because the reality is I'm a consistent barber who's deserving of all the praise, but I don't know how to communicate what I'm doing. So I'm really just demonstrating.
Yep, for sure. Show you better than I can tell you.
But once you become well-versed and trained on how to describe what you're doing so that you can transfer what you know effectively to somebody else, you've earned a title of becoming an educator. Whether it be you become a licensed teacher, whether you've been seasoned working for a brand and you know what language to use, that's what qualifies you to become an educator because you have experience and a track record of duplicating yourself into other people. Here's the challenge. On that scale, I will be after E and it has more value. So individuals with large social platforms are going to have a higher value to a degree to somebody else, to a brand who wants somebody to push.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
They need that influence. Yep.
But if we know anything about semantics, an I becomes better when there's a silent E. Mike became better with his silent E. Before Mike had text winners, there was no triangle offense. There was nothing that he can build on to actually allow for him to be the most successful he is. A large amount of the I's that exist have a bunch of silent E's that we don't even know are around. Whether it be people who are great at being behind the camera, whether it be people who are great at actually writing scripts out that they actually share, whether it be people that actually help them better demonstrate or better speak. One of the things I tell people who want to become educators is join Toastmasters. Be better with your words so that you can actually understand how to deliver what you need to deliver in a short amount of time. Because what I know from experience is that the people who communicate the best typically end up earning their way to the top.
Absolutely. Yep. So you're saying is that a lot of barbers who see what's going on social media with these influencers are understanding that there is a silent E behind them this whole time.
Absolutely. There's a gentleman from here that I know personally. You guys know him as Neil DeViso. He's from Philadelphia. Like I've been knowing him since he had a demolition company, and him and his mom will run a herb store that was down the street from my barbershop.
Yep.
Like I know him personally, but he's behind some of him and his greatness circle are behind some of the greatest influencers of today, most popular influencers of today, and providing structure, providing a lot of ways in which things are being delivered today. And people wonder, all right, how can somebody who they may think isn't as good as them with the talent, or somebody that isn't as well versed as them, it's part of talent, can end up being successful? It's because they not just hanging a hat on talent, it's talent, effective management, and public perception, and we have silent E's around to help cultivate it all to make the presentation to the public to be able to be perfect.
So I love where you're going with this. So where are these talented, maybe more experienced barbers getting their silent E from? So for an example, if I'm leaving a barbershop, it might be because the ownership wasn't doing enough for me to feel like I was getting my silent E.
Booth rental, barbershop, or commission?
Booth rental. Let's say booth rental.
So I'm running my business in your establishment, and I'm mad because you weren't running a better business for me?
No, not mad. I don't think mad is the right way to describe it. When I think about like,
you see the challenge there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But like if I'm growing as
unrealistic expectations.
Okay, yeah. So if I'm growing as an individual barber and I'm gaining the clientele and I'm seeing my income going up and these haircuts are working and I'm getting more and more referrals, I'm thinking about what's next for me. right? And a lot of the barbershop owners don't necessarily have the experience to become the background E, the silent E for a lot of barbers, right? And they think just because I have the social media following, I'm good. I got the talent, I got the social media, let me go do my own thing. Where do they find that silent E?
So here's where my personal experience has been through trade shows, through barber battles, through showcases. Because what I've been able to do is build relationships with a large amount of barbers and stylists across the world. And everything I've been a part of that people give me credit for has been because trust has been transferred from somebody else that I consider to be a thought leader, has transferred trust to me, and that has allowed me access to something that I had not earned. Okay. So building relationships with people through many different ways has been proven to be super valuable for me in many different ways. The interesting thing is the trend today is to knock shows, to knock barber events because of things not being the same. And I think psychologically, I think it's the wrong advice for anybody to follow.
The advice of what? Of not
the advice of, hey, don't go to shows, don't go to bar battles, don't go. Like that advice for me is absolutely the worst. For me personally, as somebody who would say that my average ticket in my barbershop is $84. But I do more work outside of my barbershop than in. My average ticket outside of my barbershop is $364. I have a wide range of different services and I'm booked more outside of my barbershop than in, but I wouldn't have even had access to those higher billings if it wasn't for me having trust transferred from other people. I've been the barber for Nas for about 5 years because of Marcus Harvey. I worked on Creed 1, Creed 2, an HBO special, a Page commercial, Essence cover magazine with Michael B. Jordan because of Wyatt Belton. I've had my work featured on CNN because of Eric Cheek. I've got a chance to work with Clutch Sports, which led me to Ben Simmons, Rich Paul, being on the HBO The Shop, all because of Nick Costamanos. Curtis Smith taught me how to do makeup. He told me that if I want to actually increase my billings, instead of just being paid as a barber, in the space of working with the individuals that are on TV and film, is that most of the men don't want female makeup artists throwing makeup on them because they go overboard with the makeup. So you had to learn how to do makeup in a natural way. And if you're the barber already being close and you can do it in 5 to 10 minutes, you can actually pay 3 and 4 times the value of what you actually done. I worked on Bad Boys 4 commercial set with my mentor, Pierce Austin. He's that's Will Smith's barber. Okay. He's giving me access to insight for a world that I haven't even lived in. I'm not in the union, but I have union insights because of who I'm connected to. Yep. We worked on a shoot together. He called me, he said, hey, Kenny, did you get paid yet? Sony was the actual people were paying. He said, did you get paid yet? I said, bro, what do you mean? He says, I didn't get my check yet. I said, well, typically I bill with a net 30. Sony has money. The money is coming, bro. Like this was only like 10 days after the shoot. So I'm not worried at all. I'm like, what's going on? And previously what happened was I actually did a essential water commercial and I had billed in $4,500 for haircut on my client and then 2 haircuts that I did on stunt doubles that was on this particular commercial. So I had let them know what I bill, and I'm not worried about whether the money's coming or not because it's coming from major brands. Like the money is coming. So he says, you know what? I don't do that 30-day thing. I do 14 days and my money ain't here yet. It's a problem because they usually cut my checks faster than some. He says, there might be somebody in the office that that doesn't feel like I'm worth getting paid $20,000. I said, hold up. I said, bro, for Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's haircut on that day that I was with you, you billed them $20,000? I said, bro, show me the way. If we weren't having this collaboration, I wouldn't have access to this.
For sure.
But for whatever reason, the culture has been us being separated. So if we're separated, there's no assimilation. If we're separated, there's no insight on how we can become better. So the problem I have with us leading the next generation is only offering advice when it comes to them paying for advice, because that's the only way we want to give it to them, when that's not what takes place in other cultures.
Powerful.
So now here it is, me and Pierce Austin have this wonderful relationship because I've led with what Curtis Smith told me: be an asset to your mentors, make yourself available for whatever they need. And then once you deposit it into that relationship, then you can make it grow.
Yep.
My relationship with Curtis Smith has always been, hey, how can I help you and what you got going on grow and become better? Because I want insight on how you've not just cut different celebrities, but maintained relationships with people for multiple different years. How you've been able to be flown all around the world. I'm doing that now as a result of him.
Yep.
From one client, I make what the average barber makes in a year off of one client.
So you're saying what most barbers are missing is, if you're trying to remove yourself from the hair show culture or go into hair shows, you're missing the connections.
You're disconnected. You're living through what happens in Philadelphia in the community is that whole crab in the barrel mentality. Always looking for ways to knock other people down. Always looking for ways to tell, hey, I want to sell my product and I got to knock other people to sell my product. I hate that culture. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing to be successful. And here's the reason why. Maybe my moral code is structured differently than others because I'm Christian.
Yep.
My perspective is that I exist in God's image. I believe God exists as a triune God. So I believe that if you take one essence away, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, then we don't have the Godhead. And if you take us outside of our community or being connected, we can be and operate as our best selves. So when we leave the barbershops to go into the suites, you're showing yourself to be believing that I can be the person that can wear every hat of the entrepreneur, that's the operator, the manager who's thinking in the past, and the entrepreneur who thinks in the future.
For sure.
That's too many hats for one person to wear.
So let me...
every corporation, they split that into multiple different divisions.
Oh, for sure.
So you have a CEO that's designed to think in the future. You have people who are operators that are hired to do the effective job in that moment. And then there's supervisors and managers to make sure everything flows and runs well.
Yep.
One person wearing all those hats will be burnt out.
Yeah, for sure. I say that I want to challenge that perspective slightly, because individually, I mean, I can't speak to a lot of barbers, whether it's in Atlanta or not. I know my network is doing pretty decently, but I would say without me having the years of tapping into hair shows, I haven't gone to hair shows over the years. I think there's some principles that I've just paid attention to and been able to implement those principles into my local area, right? Focusing on building scarcity, focusing on positioning. But my growth within my local community, especially in Atlanta, wasn't a result of my network from hair shows. What do you think is a principle that I implemented just by you watching my growth? What is a principle that I'm implementing that works as well in that hair show?
So because I don't know the strategy that you use, I can't speak to it.
Got you.
It would make me ask a question.
Okay.
The question I would have is, what is your relationship like? What is your relationship have been with barbers who didn't work in the same shop? What has been your relationship with other business owners, whether it be a competing business or not?
Got it.
Because if you've been open to collaboration, then that's the principle in itself.
Yep.
Collaboration. The principle of putting yourself around other thought leaders that can be a mirror to you, so you can see where your flaws is reflected off of where their greatness is.
Yep.
So you can see where you can actually assimilate to become better. If you're disconnected from that, that's going to allow you to eventually just die. But if you're connected to thought leaders, if you're connected to other people who are at the top of their game, whether it be other barbers or stylists or not, you're still going to be able to learn from different people and actually grow.
I have plenty
My
of
perspective for barbers is that barbers have an opportunity to tap into a large amount of people that's sitting in their chair, but they're not leading with the value that people bring to the chair. They're only leading with the value of how much they can pay while in the chair.
Say that one more time.
I focused on whatever I needed at the time, marketing towards that type of something in my chair. During the season, I wanted to make sure I have a lawyer in my chair so I can have a free consultation while we're doing this banter back and forth and I'm asking intuitive questions, I want to make sure I have a lawyer in my chair to give me better insight so I can be sharp as I can. There's times that I want to make sure I have different health professionals in my chair because I want insight on what's going to be some of the best practices of, how can I have this meal prep actually be versatile and be good? Like, what do you do?
Yep.
There's a higher value to the insight that a person has that's in your chair. And we want to say, hey, sit still because I want to find the right lighting for the right haircut because I want to post this on Instagram.
Absolutely. So I think that's, I think you touched into what I focused on was, I built my network locally within the barbering industry. So I've been around enough barbers where I send referrals all over the place, but I've really hyper focused on my clientele and learn as much as I can from my clients by becoming a guide, not trying to be a hero. So I think that's the principle that I wanted to bring up is like,
guide and coach is the same thing,
man,
bro.
I wanted to be able to just ask you questions, give you an amazing haircut and just let you be you. And I think I've gained a lot of value from my clientele and also just amazing books. I think that's been a great resource too. Has some great books referred to me as well.
One of the books that I read, it was a training manual called Coaching Psychology and the Psychology of Coaching. And it was very impactful for me. It helped me become a better listener. I realized that as a barber, the better of a listener I've been, the more money I've made through tips. Because I've added additional value outside of just the talent of the haircut, now we're focusing on the quality of the service.
Yep.
I've earned more from great advice than a hot towel. I've earned more from great advice than facials. Because if I can add value to you and help you make an extra $15,000 this year because of getting access to my Rolodex and even out who can be of assistance to you, because I've asked you intuitive questions, listened to you, asked some more questions, including some of the things you said to prove that I'm listening to you. Number one, you're going to deem that I respect you. You're going to deem that I respect you because I'm actively listening.
Yep.
Proving that I'm building intimacy with you by repeating some of the things you said within me asking another question to get a deeper understanding of your perspective, then providing a solution by saying, well, hey, I have a guy that does that very thing that you're looking for.
Yep.
That's your biggest challenge.
Yep.
That's going to help you get over that hump.
Yep.
Are you open to the connection?
Yep.
Great, no problem.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to create a group text. Bro, I appreciate you. The next time they come in, they start telling me about what real estate deal that he was able to do that didn't even hit the MLS because of I had something for sale. You were a contractor and you wanted, now you got it for a right value. And now,
man, I want to make sure that's not missed because you said something real powerful. One thing that you just mentioned, I want to make sure I highlight and I underline in this conversation is that the value that you're speaking of isn't from you. The value that you just spoke of is you being a connector. The value is in your position as a connector. And I think a lot of barbers miss that as a way that they can increase their value or even their ticket is understanding that a lot of the clients who will pay you top dollar don't necessarily want you to spend an hour and a half on their haircut by adding all kind of extra enhancements and doing steam treatments. They just want you to respect their time and be a resource for them just by being a connector. That's powerful, for sure.
speed of the haircut is one aspect of time. Convenience of how and where the haircut is done is also something that I've experienced that has added a lot of value to it.
Okay. Speed and then location. Is that what you're saying?
Speed is not the only thing, is what I'm saying.
Yep. I'm just trying to differentiate this. Speed is one, and then you're saying the other is when.
Being available when I want it.
Got it.
So busy barbers aren't always available when certain people want this to be serviced.
Mm-hmm.
So a large amount of the clients that I serve, well, here's what I'll share with you the context. In my barbershop, I'm the one of the most unreliable barbers there solely because I don't confirm my appointments until the evening before because I'm on call with the 76ers and with Jimmy Butler. And both of those entities pay more per minute, per hour, however you want to language it. And there's haircuts I do in 15 minutes and get paid $150 for.
Mm.
And I'll have 8 of them lined up back to back.
Yep.
I'm not staying in the barbershop.
For sure.
I'm not saying no to that. Understand that I'm not saying no to that. But I'm not going to be disrespectful to you. I'm going to let it be known ahead of time that here's what my parameters are.
Yep.
Here's what the opportunities are. And I'm not going to leave you high and dry I'm going to create an opportunity for your appointment to either be rescheduled with me, or if you need that set time, I have a slew of amazing barbers that can accommodate you around the same time.
Yep.
So I'm making sure that we're communicating and we're offering a solution to whatever problem it is, but I'm not guaranteed. I'm managing expectations by letting it be known that I value you and your time, but I do have other things going on that pay 3, 4, 5 times what you pay me per minute. And I will move for that one, but I want you to understand why. Most of the clients that I serve today have unorthodox schedules and value the insight and value that I provide for them. So there will be people who are willing to deal with that one because they find value in just being in that community, because a large amount of other communities aren't as supportive. I'm connecting people. I'm making sure that I'm providing ways to add value. How can I be an asset to you more than just this haircut? That's what I'm asking myself.
Yep.
And if that don't exist, honestly speaking, I'm not the barber for you.
Facts. I understand that. So what you're saying is that communication, even though you're not the ideal barber for them because you may not be available the next day because you may have to go take care of your private client.
You
communicate.
My wife challenged me. She said, "Stop saying that publicly." let me qualify. I'm not the most reliable barber to somebody who works a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
For those that have unorthodox schedules, I become the preferred barber. For the barber that wants somebody to move when they say move for a significant premium, I am preferred for that community.
Gotcha.
And it's been keeping me attached to a lot of the things that people are excited about. You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
Like, the perks of it is that I was at the Soul for free. I partied with the Eagles at the official party for free. That's only by way of relationships that I have with people who wanted me to move my schedule around to accommodate theirs. Being paid handsomely, but then I've also had access to stuff that people will pay a lot of money to be a part of. That adds into the value of what I'm doing. And when I share those type of things with my clients, they're like, I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I appreciate you for showing up for me when you do, because I understand that you could just say, I'm not doing this at all.
Got it.
I need that balance. I need the balance of still being connected and staying in the barbershop to understand how things go, keep my hand tight, and also being assimilated to higher culture in reference to earnings. And I'm merging both worlds. I'm taking insight and information that I'm getting from this world
back to the love it. Love it. So I want to get your perspective on, because you mentioned value a few different times in this conversation. I want to get your perspective on my approach to value, because I see it's very similar to what you do. And like I mentioned, I think there's some things that I do similarly that I think is about principles. So one of the principles for me in our shop is 3 different layers of value. Number 1 is external value. External value, for an example, is the haircut, right? As a good barber, you can provide a good fade. That's external value. But what most barbers miss is internal value, which is what frustrates somebody, what they feel is missing. So the second layer of value is internal value. And I define that as what frustrates clients. Because a lot of times the haircut may be good, but it's frustrating because you didn't tell them beforehand that you weren't going to be there that next day, right? Because you had a, emergency appointment that you had to go service. Or maybe you're running 30 minutes behind, you didn't communicate. That frustrates people. So that's the second layer of value, is internal, what frustrates somebody. And third is social, which is what makes you you and what you provide socially. And I think those 3 layers together make an incredibly valuable barber if you can tap into all 3. An example of social is I play golf. And a lot of my clients play golf, not because I require them when they book their appointment to check off that they're a golfer, but I share that publicly and I'm cool being me. So it attracts like-minded individuals, and people value that as well. So I think a lot of barbers, as they scale up on prices, they need to understand that there's other layers that they need to be okay with valuing themselves, or at least promoting. How do you feel about those 2 different layers?
That's a part of the public perception. It's how you continue to increase the value beyond $1 per minute, is that you're sharing who you are, you're cultivating what the public's gonna know about you, and all barbers are gonna attract what they put out. So if you only put out, hey, I do the perfect haircuts, you're only gonna get people who expect for you to do the perfect haircuts.
Yeah.
But you put out there, hey, there's other layers to who I am. I'm more than just a barber. These are the things that I'm into. People are gonna gravitate to those things that people like and appreciate. So a large amount of our clients now are people who invest, people who have some type of business structure. I mean, business that they have structure, and they run it as a CEO or entrepreneur at any degree. And then It's, athletes, actors, artists, and then the coaches. That's what my clients are.
Yep.
So a large amount of the people that I'm associating with don't have any problems with how I run my business because their business run the same
They
way.
see it. Yep. They're similar.
So it definitely provides value.
Sure.
My encouragement for any barber listening is to focus on your personal journey, your personal climb journey.
Climb journey.
Climb is an acronym. My encouragement is to focus on your personal climb journey.
Okay.
C is do a self-assessment to understand what your capacity is. What are you good at? What are you not good at? Because as a licensed professional, we may make at least $1 per minute. Do an assessment of your services. If anything's paying you less than $1 a minute, take that off. Only focus on the things that's going to pay you $1 per minute.
Let's break that down. Let's get a specific example.
So I did an assessment with a barber the other day, and he had a haircut was for $55 and he booked it for an hour. He had a children's haircut, that was $40 and was booked it for an hour. Then he had beards that was set for $25 at 20 minutes. I said, bro, I would promote myself as a beard specialist. I wouldn't even do haircuts. That whole picture perfect haircut with enhancements and all that one, don't even present yourself as that person. Because at 20 minutes of service, 3 beard services will all pay you $75 an hour, but you're willing to turn down $75 an hour to make $55 because of that Instagram post, or to make $40 because that kid is going to take longer in your chair because you want the haircut to be perfect, and he doesn't even want to be in the chair that long. So
yeah,
your structure is allowing for you to make less money, and if you're not satisfied with where you are in life, it's not the shop. That's you.
So here's the pushback. He may push back and say, but Kenny, man, like I need those Instagram, I need those enhanced posts. That's what brings me my clients. What do you tell them? I can't just focus on beards because people want more than beards.
I don't agree with that. The proof, there isn't proof that actually proves that one. Because my biggest focus is how would you be a purple cow? How would you be somebody that separates yourself from everybody else?
Seth got
like what are you gonna do to cause yourself to be different than everybody else? I find a bunch of perfect haircuts on Instagram all day, every day. Like
what? Not a perfect haircut.
I can find it anywhere.
The common thing.
I could. It's because this is what the culture has been asking us to post on social. That's the thing that gets the most likes. We're looking for the thing that's not paying us and not trying to figure out who's going to pay us the most. That's what the issue is. Your attention is going in the wrong direction because you're so impressed by the praise. You're going to even be controlled by the boos and affected financially. That's a problem.
Yeah.
If I have a small group of people, and you only need a small group of people in order to make a decent living. I don't need 10,000 followers to make a decent living.
Say that.
I don't need that. If I have a book of 100 people that's committed to patronizing me consistently, I will be okay. Why are we looking for the world to stroke our egos when it doesn't require for the world to feed your family?
Thanks.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So change the perspective of what you should be doing. Bro, understand your capacity, lean on your strength. While you do have a weakness, you're going to walk with a limp, but lean on your strength. If all you can do is beards at $1 per minute, lean on that.
Thanks.
Market that. That's what I want you to focus on. But I understand this leg might be a little weak because I have some things I can identify that I'm weak at. Okay, get around mentors and invest. That's I. Invest. Invest into whatever that weakness is. And then once this weakness now becomes one of the strengths that you can lean on, you remarket who you are and what you can do.
Yep.
And monetize it. And you take that money and bankroll it. Invest it into the next layer of climb, because we're always going to find some area of our lives or some area of our business that needs growth and development. So now when we do a reassessment, I have a new set of capacity. I'm at a different stage. So who I am now is not who I was last year.
Yep.
I'm always making this assessment what my finding journey is. What is my capacity? I got to figure this out. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Okay, cool. I know where I'm at right now.
Yep.
I'm tracking it. I'm tracking what I'm making per hour and what I'm making per minute. I know what these things are. If I track it, I can grow it. Now I can lean on my strengths again. identify what my weaknesses are, invest into those weaknesses are again, remarket and monetize that very thing again,
Yep.
bankrupt, and continue. It's a continuous thing. But you have to have people around you. One of the things I want to share, and I want to end with this one.
Sure.
This is for you. But I want to explain the concept and what this is and what this represents.
Okay.
Because for me, this is more than just a clipper. Honestly, the Anders Company awarded this opportunity to me for 20 years of service, and it wasn't something I asked for. Wasn't something I was aiming for. So it doesn't do anything for me in reference to ego that this exists. I wanted to, instead of being egotistical and just talk about all the things that I've done and accomplished, I wanted to say, okay, how can I make sure that whoever holds this is reminded of something that's beneficial to them? Chuck Styles, who's an amazing artist, he helped cultivate the artwork here. And this artwork is called the Blueprint to Greatness. Hence the reason why it has a grid aspect to it, right? I believe that anybody who's on their climb journey in any industry needs to practice 4 things in order for them to become successful. Number 1 is patience. Patience through practice. 10,000 hours helps unlock a level of mastery. This is not going to be something that's done quick. So the climb journey isn't something that you're going to do, say, hey, I'm at this price point, I'm just going to market at this price point and everybody's going to come. No, there's going to be a lot of things that you're missing. Because there's character development that takes time and effort and energy and bad experiences to help those things become ingrained in you.
Absolutely.
You follow me?
Yep.
So patience is number 1. Number 2, mentorship precedes success. You have to be humble enough to know that you don't know it all. There's somebody out there better than you that can do things better than you, that you can sit under, learn winning ways from, use them as a mirror to see where your flaws at, that you can actually assimilate to, because ChatGPT only works based on you having great prompts. Google only works when you know what to Google. When you don't have the ideas of what to actually say, how can you reach for something that you don't even know exists? I wouldn't know that makeup has paid me more than barbering if it wasn't for Curtis Smith. I wouldn't understand that you create characters and not do haircuts unless it was for Pierce Austin. People around me have given me stuff that I didn't even know exist, and I've won as a result of that insight. Mentorship precedes success. Along the journey, the mindset that we have has to shift. When I ask somebody how they doing, what people say?
Good. Doing all right.
Good as a B. My question is, what's missing for you to be great? There has to be a mindset shift. So my challenge to people is to focus on being great on purpose. My mindset shift to be great on purpose is, if a man doesn't have a plan, do you plan to fail? How do you plan from going from a B to an A? What are the tangible things? What are the action items that we can actually utilize that cause you to go from a B to A? But if you don't even know where you are, you're not even going to aim to be better, because you're going to settle for that mediocrity.
Sure.
Hey, how you doing? I'm good. And continue on the rest of your day. When does it become okay just to settle for a B? You want to say to the mirror, okay, you got 80% of it right.
Yeah.
At that point, you're going to be like, all right, what can I do to make it better? Like, but we don't do that with our own lives. Last piece is, there's a grid on here. It's on the clipper and on the box that only goes up to 700. It doesn't go up to 1,000 for a reason, because I don't believe you have to be perfect in order for you to be great. In baseball, 3 out of 10, multimillionaire.
Hall of Fame.
In basketball, 5 out of 10, you're doing some things.
Yeah, for sure.
In football, if you complete 7 out of 10 passes, you're a multi-millionaire.
For sure.
That's what takes place. But they practice often, frequently, to actually program themselves for greatness and prepare for greatness, so that in the moments that you can perform at a high level. But all the greats that we talk about have science in the background. They all have people that they can actually say has helped them exit. Nobody that we praise as an athlete, actor, or artist has done things on their own. None of them. So why are we trying to do it?
I appreciate you. So many lessons
Again, Kenny, thanks again for coming out, man. Always full of wisdom, man. I appreciate you. All right.
Appreciate
Till next
you, man.
time, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. That's it.